Are you still podding?
Yeah, I'm going to get back.
Well, why did you stop?
Just so much. Life really put me in a spliff and smoked me, bro.
I hear that.
Not to make it sound like that, but yeah, I had like my own personal issues last year. I was ill for a bit. Then obviously my dad passed. So even as I recovered, I was thinking, yeah, I'd scheduled things in, not just for podding, for my own talk show, Rare Talks. Had my guests lined up, production, everything sorted for November. Then my dad passed.
Oh, he passed?
November 25th.
November 25th.
So I just like literally cancelled everything. Like when my dad passed, I felt like half of me died. Like I still feel it like till today. Like it's like the worst. It's like, I don't know. Like when I try and talk about it, I'm always like, I've been around so many people that have lost people, and I'm like, did it affect you like this as well? How come you just... Because when my dad died, I don't know if it's because it was sudden, and it wasn't like he was in hospital and we knew... You know, like, sometimes when someone's in hospital, you're mentally prepared. Like, I spoke to him twice on the day, so I'm thinking, you're cool. I even said, I'll see you tomorrow. Then 5 hours later, I'm getting a call, your dad's been found dead.
That is...
So for me, mentally, and my dad's like, not only is he my man... Because I'm a proper daddy's girl, innit? Like, right. My dad tells me he loves me all the time. Like, that's like my man. That's how I see him. Yeah, anything I need in life, I go to him first. So it's like, it was just like my main person's gone.
I was going to ask you actually, because like, yeah, this week in particular was obviously like a deep one for me as well, yeah? But I'll talk about it in a bit. But like, what was, you said that you and your dad was close, yeah? Like growing up, like what was your relationship like with him as you was growing up as a teenager though?
I went through like ups and downs with my dad because my mum and dad were together. Like when I was young, I had like a proper family set up, 2 parents at home working. I'm a firstborn, so I was the eldest. He was very strict, but he never hit me. You know them people that like their presence, like I never swore in front. You wouldn't even believe how I turned out the way I turned out, because I was always so scared of him. Like I always done my homework. Like I was good at school. I came back on time. Everything. Went drama school, went dance school. Like I had like a normal childhood. And then when they went through a divorce, that was peak for me. That's when I was like, I didn't even have curfew. I was just doing what the hell I wanted. Because obviously my mum was dealing with the breakup. But then when I got to...
how old was you when they was going through that, by the way?
Year 9, year 10, when it started.
It's a big age though.
Yeah. So I was in secondary school, but my behaviour, everything, the school even was like, it was evident that the breakup at home is affecting Denise.
Right.
So I started getting in trouble, getting arrested, this and that. So my dad thought, like, you're going off the rails. So he started like spending a lot of time with me. He'd invite me to his house all the time, just talk to me about life, getting in trouble. He was just trying to like put sense into me. So then we got closer again, because I was angry at him when he broke up with my mom. So I was like, you know, like that type of fuck you energy. But then obviously I started growing up. Then obviously he would just take more time, talk to me. I started realising, you know what, it's not even his fault. Do you know what I mean? You're blaming your dad, it's not even his fault. It's not her fault, but obviously things happen in life. So I started taking him in, and I just started being there with him more. He got diagnosed. He was sick for a while. But then
what did he have?
Cancer.
Right.
But he got better.
What was that like? You see, when
that's when I thought he was going to die. I was 19. I hadn't even had my child yet. I remember vividly getting a call. I went on a family trip with my mum's side of her family to Uganda. My parents, honestly. They've been taking us to Uganda our whole lives. That's why we're so Ugandan.
That's sick, though. That's sick. That's proper. You're in touch with your culture.
Yeah, proper. So we went back on my mum's side.
Can you cook the food in that, though?
Yeah.
Ah, certified.
Not as,
Yeah, but you can do things.
Yeah.
Right, so no.
I'm still trying to get better before someone tries to put me to the test.
Yeah.
I was about 19. I remember getting a call from my dad's sister, like, oh, they've just found a tumour that's burst or something. The doctor's saying that they're going to switch off the machines. I was 19 in Uganda. It was like 2 days after Christmas. I'm even in my mum's village, which is like 9 hours drive from the airport. I ain't even got peas like that. Like, do you know what I mean? My mum's brought me here. You know when you're young, you don't even pay for your own holiday. And my mum's brought me here.
Yeah.
My aunt's like, you need to come back. Like, your dad could die. That's when, for me, because I've even got a big tattoo on my back from that time, because I actually thought he was gonna die. Like I flew back, came back. He was in a sedated coma, bare tubes, gone in a coma for like I think a month. I used to come there and talk to him every day with one of my cousins, Drew, who's like one of my favourite older cousins. We used to go there and talk to him every day, thinking, nah, he's not going to make it, And he woke up. He had to learn how to walk again, everything. And from then, it's like, I developed anxiety.
I was going to say, like, how did that change? It changes you, right? Yeah.
Everything. Anyone who knows me knows that I've always been worried about my dad. All the time, I'm always like, let me just check my dad. Like, we'll be on holiday. Let me just check. Like, I've always been worried about him. I'll be driving past East, and if I just don't check him, my heart's thinking, but what if something happens? You know, like when you're always, what if? And it's so sad that the way my dad died is how I always knew he was going to die.
Is it? Yeah.
I always check on him because he lives on his own, innit? So I always feel like, you're on your own. Like, what if? Like, and that's how he died.
Yeah.
Sorry, I tell stories.
No. Because I'm just trying to paint the picture. But yeah, like, I was gonna say, when you first hear something like that, I don't relate to that at that age, because I never had that. I never knew. Like, obviously, I'd experienced death, and I've experienced a lot of death still, but like never that. No, I can't say that because my grandmother died, and I was very close to both of my grandparents or whatever. But since that was different, but like to hear something like that naturally changes so much in you, and then awakes different emotions in you, innit? Because it's like, you don't know what anxiety feels like really until that point, because you're like, oh my God, you start thinking, like an important person in my life isn't even going to be here anymore, and you're in a whole different country, like, which probably adds to it. As you said, you're like 9 hours away, you know, your brain must have been absolutely
flying
frazzled.
Back on your own, like, that's why, to a certain degree, like, I miss my dad so much. Like, I would do anything to have him here right now. But when he passed, I kind of like felt like he rested.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
100.
Like, I felt like, cool, you've rested. Because even though he wasn't actually ill at the time, because he was ill before all that time, it's like it burnt him out a bit. He weren't the same person. Like, he had a bit of a mild dementia.
Okay.
He just wasn't physically as strong as he used to be. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, he had a bit of a hip issue as well because he had an accident. Like, my dad's like an old school G. Like, I can't even explain this, but like 10 years ago, I don't know why, he tried to jump on like an R1.
Did he?
A motorbike, because my cousins are all riders.
Yeah. Yeah,
and they have like loads of bikes back home in Uganda, and he tried to jump on one.
What, and ride one himself?
Yes.
And then mash up himself.
Shit, so he had an operation, a hip replacement. So life wasn't as easy for him anymore. Like, and he was a very prideful person. So when I'm like, oh yeah, Dad, I'll come take you to do your food shopping. Oh, no, you'd get to his house. He's already gone. He's doing his own thing. Yeah. Like, so life wasn't as easy for him anymore. So I do feel like he rested, but at the same time, like, I don't think I will ever be the same again.
Do you mind me asking you about like that specific time, like when all of that actually happened, like where you was and whatnot? Like,
yeah, I can remember, like, vividly. I know it's the worst because, like I said, I had been ill for time, gone through it again, and my mum was living with me just to get me back. So, and she'd just come back from Uganda in October the 14th, and I picked her up from the airport and she came to stay straight with me. And now we're in November when October, September, so it was a while she was with me. She'd get me back. I was even starting to put on weight again. We used to cook together, everything. On this particular day, we went to pick up my son from school together. We had like a nice family day. Like, we went, he started some new football training, so we went to take him to get football boots. And I was like, you know how prices of shit's just gone up?
Massive.
I was like, bro, we're going Sports Direct. We're not even going JD.
Yeah, strong.
Then I'm looking at football boots. I'm thinking they're still like 50, 60 pounds. I'm seeing 18, 110. It's really going, yeah? So I was like, I'm on. Because I'm thinking, you better just get some Adidas ones. We're not even going to Nike right now.
Yeah. Go into the Nike store, you'll fart.
You know, what? Then my mum's like, no, get the one you want. Like, I'm going to pay for it. I was thinking, thank God. So he's all picked up one expensive one. She even got him... We've gone to like another Curry's. She's got him some new JBLs thing for his gaming thing. Like, support him. We've gone Nando's, took family pictures. Now, I don't really do this, take pictures with like my mum and my son. We've took a nice picture together. I've actually sent it to my whole family in good spirits. Got home now. My mum's watching something on Netflix. I've gone in my room on the phone to my boyfriend, like having an amazing convo. You know, like when you're on the bed.
Yeah.
My mum's just burst in my door. Your dad's dead.
What?
Huh? You know, that's exactly... I was like, I just locked off the phone. I was like, what? What do you mean? She's like, Daddy's dead. I think I just sat on the floor for like an hour. I didn't really speak to nobody. I think the first person I probably called was Banks. I walked out of my house for a walk and I said, Banks, my dad's dead. She was like, no. I just couldn't accept it for time. Like,
did you know what of? Like, or was that not even a conversation you even had immediately?
At that time, when we got told, his brother found him, and his brother was, when my mum's talking to the brother, like, my dad's on the floor, bro.
That's mad. Yeah,
for hours. My cousins, like, they're strong. They blew to my dad's to be there. Because, you know, they have to get the private ambulance to come get the body. It's not that. Yeah. Then I think police come. People, it's not that. When someone's found dead at home, it's not as easy as, there's like a little protocol they got to go through. So that was happening. I was just numb. So for the next 3 days, I was numb. I cried. I had my cries. And I used to be scared to go sleep the first couple of days. Because I didn't want to wake up to the reality.
Yeah.
So that was happening. Obviously, my dad's a very, proud Ugandan. He always told us, if I die, you got to bury me back home.
Right.
And I used to joke, no, you're going in plaster, so I can see you all the time. He used to be like, no. So the timing, my grandma was like, we can't ruin Christmas. It's got to be early Jan.
Right.
So that put a standstill on all of us. No one could work. No one could move. It's like, you can't do nothing because you got people coming around. We're cultural, innit? So people are coming to my mum's every day, like till morning. Like, you just can't do nothing. Like, I couldn't do nothing. My brother couldn't do nothing. My sister couldn't. We just couldn't. We were just waiting to bury him. Like, you just want, not closure, but you just, we felt like we couldn't do nothing.
It is closure though, isn't it? Because it's like, it's like you feel like you can't do anything. It's hard to move forward until something like that is done. So we
were all just stuck for like 5-6 weeks waiting to go Uganda to bury Dad, planning his funeral. We had to plan one for here and then plan one for there. It was just a lot. It's just not real. And one thing that hurts me a bit is that I didn't go and see my dad's body, but I think it's better for my mental health because my dad was like that.
Right.
When his favourite sister died and they called him and said, do you want to come and see her? He was like, and I was with him as well. He's like, do you not want me to go mad? Basically, like, but I'm like, I felt like that's how I would have gone. But I picture him all the time now, like, just laying there, like.
What, your dad? But did you see him when, you didn't see him on the
I didn't ever see him. I wanted to keep the memories of him alive and good memories. Right. So I didn't want to go see his body when he was here at the morgue. I didn't do it. When we got to Uganda, my brother went to see him with my mum. Even my son saw him. I couldn't do it.
Don't feel guilty about that. Yeah, and I know it's easy for me to say, yeah, but like, and it's more something for you to practice, but the reason why I say to you that to try not to feel too guilty about that is, I believe anyway, and this is just from like my experience of dealing with these type of things, is that after a certain period of time, I don't know what it is, and maybe I have to speak to a scientist or someone about it, yeah, but after a period of time, you can actually just tell that they're just not even there. So even though there's the shell of the person, there's something that has gone. Like when someone dies immediately, they still look like they're there. But then like, I don't know if there's a time period or whatever, but it's like usually anytime I've seen someone, 5 days, 6 days, or even at the funeral when they have, because Jamaicans love that as well, yeah, have the open casket or whatever. 90% of the time when I've gone and looked, they've just like, it's just a shell. It's like,
why do you look? Are you not scared?
Now I don't. So I don't. Like, I didn't when it was the last person I looked at was my cousin. Yeah, someone that like he that we were so close. Like it was always me, him, and his brother. Yeah, Elliot and David. But we were close. We're like brothers. We're cousins, but we're like brothers. All around the same age. We grew together. My friends were their friends. Their friends were my friends. I'm always on their estate. They're always in my estate. They always stay at my yard. I always stay at their yard. Like we just grew together. And then as we got older, we still was always close. We were always doing our thing or whatnot, but we were still just very, very close. And then one day he had someone hit him off a motorbike, innit? And like that was just a whole I couldn't even believe.
I
just couldn't even. He came to my house.
My cousin died like that as well.
Is it? Yeah, that was tough. Like, he came to my house in the morning, and he's just like, "Oh, do you want to come out?" I was like, "No." I opened the door with my eyes closed, and I always that used to hurt me, you know, because I didn't even look at him. Like, he knocked on my door, I had my eyes closed. He's like, "Oh, you coming out?" I was like, "Cause I'm tired, man. I'm sleeping in it. I'll link you later." So I've gone back to sleep. Later on in the day, I've seen him. I was on a high street somewhere and I see him like just drive up the thing. He just beat me or whatever and just gone about his business. Then later on, his brother rang me and said to me, "Oh, like David's had an accident or whatnot." And I just thought, "Oh, you know what? He'll be all right." And I remember my cousin saying to me, "Nah, you know what? Like, this is a serious thing." But when he passed, went to the hospital straight away, and obviously that was tough in itself. But this was the last time I actually looked when it had the thing open at the casket, and I remember looking and thinking, you know what? That's not even him. Like, that's like just the shell, the thing that's inside, like the spirit or whatever it is. Innit? That's you. Once it's gone, it's gone. So that's why when my nan had died, I didn't look. I just thought I don't want to keep all of those moments that I had with her like that as that and just not look. Do you know what I mean?
I've only seen one dead body, and I was young, and that traumatized me.
Yeah.
It weren't good. But death in itself is something like, what I've learnt from losing my dad is that it's so real. Like, it's that real, and you just have to accept it. There's literally nothing you can do, like, in terms of like, we're all gonna die. So like, I feel like everyone should just try and live their life to the best they can, and just try and be a nice person, because one thing about my dad was he was such a nice person, like, and even me moving forward, I try and be nice anyway, but I'm going to try and be nicer.
Yeah.
Because like my dad, like the legacy he left, like all over, like even in like his area, like where he lives in East London, his neighbours, like when he died, people would come that I don't know. "Oh, you know what? I've lived next door to Peter for this long. Oh, I used to let me wash my clothes when he's on my machine."
Is that your dad's name?
Peter, yeah.
Do you know how mad that is?
Is that your stepdad's name?
My stepdad's name.
Don't.
That's his name.
That's mad, yeah. Peter Dainty, my dad, like, honestly, like, the people would come to us and be like, "Yeah, we had no washing machine. He would let us wash his clothes. Like, he'd wash our clothes for us. Oh, he used to give us money for our electric." Like, he would just help just random neighbours that you don't even know, like that. Like, just people, like, he was just such a nice person. And I thought, would you let your neighbour wash their clothes like me? You're mad, but I would now. Like, I will do anything. Like,
well, listen,
honestly,
there's some Ukrainians coming here soon.
But I heard the 350. I ain't got no room, boy. I need about 3 bags. And I'll make room. I'll be cooking for them and everything. Now, I ain't got no room for the Ukrainians. But that's a good boy. But my dad would have probably, because he had a 2-bedroom and he had space, I'm sure my dad would have let someone in.
Did you? So, like, there's a whole grieving process, yeah? Well, I went, before I even go through the Peter stuff, I talked about it already. A lot of people that watch this would have and listen would have heard it, but I'll still go through some of it again. But a little while after he died, I got a phone call from someone. I cannot remember the lady's name.
Was he sick? Did you know he was going to die? Or
it was a whole madness. It was a whole.
I don't even know what's worse.
It was a whole.
If it's sudden or waiting, knowing. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'll get into all of that, but it was a whole madness. I can imagine. But so like, I got a phone call from someone or email from someone that was like, "Oh, we'd like you to come to a college and discuss like grief." Yeah, they were having like these different subject matters over a certain period of time, and one of them was grief. Yeah, and they knew from listening to the pod that I did that I was going through something or whatever, and like. I was sharing my experiences with them and sort of like how I'm dealing with it and boom, 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 boom. And it's like, you know, grief comes in different aspects. It's like you could be in a relationship with someone and like super, super love them and go for a whole madness. And then you might be with them for a long period of time. You might be with them for a short period of time. But when they break up with you, it hits you super hard. And then you start going through all of these different emotions, yeah? And that definitely happens with death. Like, for example, guilt. Like, that's something that my mum went through. Like, when I tell you, she absolutely battered herself in guilt. For it now. Is it?
And they weren't even together no more. But my dad brought my mum here, innit?
Yeah.
They came to this country together. Like, just bare shit. Until, even though they broke up all them years ago, remember, my mum and dad lived 2 minutes, like, not 2 minutes, 5 minutes away from each other, and he still loved my mum till the day he died.
Right.
Like, every 2 weeks, he'd go to, like, some Ugandan shop that brings fresh Ugandan produce, and he'd buy her, like, all her favourite stuff every 2 weeks and leave it at her door, even if he's not talking to her. She feels finished. Like, I could have done... Just go through it. But I want to hear, like...
The guilt. Like, you do go through that. You go through that thing of, I could have done that. If only if I would have... You know, I shouldn't have said this. You do all of that. But you know what? Like, which I was saying to my mum, I said to her, listen, like, for my mum and Peter, they had an amazing relationship anyway, yeah? And I was like, your mind is playing tricks on you. Like, you're at a point where you feel as though, you know what, I could have... But she was going through real emotions at the time. And like... You're only human. You just go through them. But that's not to take away from whether things work out or whether they don't work out. You know, you're not to know. Like, you're not to know this is what's going to happen or this is, you know, you're not. We all know that someone's going to die, but you don't know when it's going to happen. And as difficult as it is, like, the guilt is a real emotion. You can't tell someone to not feel guilty, and you can't tell someone to not feel emotions. They just have to feel how they feel and try to, you know, either get some help with it or, you know, take a little bit of time out so that they can process exactly what is going on. Because sometimes I feel like when you have an emotion like guilt and it's battering you so much, you're not processing it so much. There's so much things going on in your mind. It's like this one part is taking over everything. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, she went through guilt. She went through anger.
That one.
Did you have that as well?
What? Sometimes I'll be in the shower, like, even like now, I don't want to cry now, but I could be in the shower and I'd actually not cuss my dad, but I'd be like, how the fuck could you leave me? Like,
yeah.
But in an angry way.
Yeah.
Only because, like, the relationship me and my dad have is like, you're my dad.
Yeah.
And you're always gonna be my dad. Like, you're my protector. It's like, now you've just left me in the world. That's how I feel.
But he didn't leave you though. He didn't leave you. Like, sometimes that this aspect of life, yeah, and when we go wherever it is that we go, is just something that we'll never really understand. We will never understand why things happen the way that they do, and at the times that they happen. Do you get what I'm saying? But with that being said, though, they're not intentionally doing that. It's just something that happens within our life. You get what I'm saying? Like, I understand when sometimes people get angry with God. Do you know what I mean? People spend a lot of time connected to a religion or whatever it may be, and then they think, right, like, how could you allow that to happen? Like, like, how is that even a thing? Like, how is that even a thing? Like, look how you know how you feel, innit? It's like, no, why would 100%. You put? Why would I've you put?
Question God, not question God, but you know, when life is really getting, you're just like, God, why? Like, come on, like, what the hell? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But when you said the anger thing, you'd never think you could have anger towards someone that's died, but you do. You're just like, but then that's what. It's just weird. But it's like, I definitely know he didn't know he was gonna die. Obviously.
Nah, of course, yeah.
But he's like, bro, didn't you feel nothing? But I kind of
think
like
I hear that.
But he must have though, because that week he died. He went to visit one sister that he ain't seen for time. The 2 times I spoke to him, he called me. No, I called him to check on him in the morning. Then he called me back to tell me that he loved me and to tell my son that he loved my son. He was like, where's the man? And even I was even rude. I was just like, Daddy's at school, because it was like midday. Like, why are you asking me where's the man midday? Right. So I was even like, Dad, you know he's at school. Like, you're like, He's like, oh, tell him I love him. Yeah. I was like, brother, you must have like known a little bit.
Sometimes they want to protect you from it. Sometimes they want to protect you from it. Sometimes, you know, a person can be feared, and men do this a lot still. We feel a certain way, but you know, we just don't want to. One, we don't want to deal with that. It's long. Well, I'll be all right. And secondly, you don't want to worry anyone. You don't want to worry anyone, and you don't want to feel like you're going to be a burden to someone either.
That's him.
You know, and like, those are like the different emotions that they go through, but it's tough. Like, processing death is a madness.
Listen, we had to repatriate. Like, I dealt with everything. Like, as in, I've done the funeral here, flew out the next morning, like 6 a.m. that night, my flight to go Uganda, because his body was leaving at 9 a.m. and I wanted to be there before the body gets there. So even when I got there now, my mum's brother out there is like in government, so I was able to like go at the cargo and see, you know, like see when the coffin's coming out the plane, like see it getting handled. It's like I saw where it was. I thought, nah, that's a fucking person, bro. Like he's coming back like just a box.
Yeah.
Like he's with suitcases and shit. Like
yeah.
I was like,
that's mad, isn't it? When you look at it like that.
Yes. Then we had to take the coffin to a morgue for one night. So we had to take. Obviously, there's an ambulance. We're driving behind the ambulance. I saw exactly where they put him. We had to come back there the next morning. 9-hour drive to the village. Drive behind the ambulance. That was traumatizing because you have to drive really slow behind them. Do you know what I mean? Like, had one stop, get there now to my dad's village. I haven't been there since I was like 20. Overwhelming, bro. Overwhelming. That village is like, it's up north of Uganda, yeah? So it's always like 40 degrees, mad hot, so hot. As soon as we pulled up into the village, you know, they've got their little superstitions, their little culture. It started raining and it hadn't rained there in like time. It's dry season. It doesn't even rain the time we're there. So they were like, oh no, this is a blessing. This means Peter's like gone there in a good way, like, or whatever. But the whole town came out for my dad. People wearing t-shirts, walk like it was just like, we could hear a live band. We didn't know all of this was happening. So we're in our car. It was too funny because my mum's family are like proper like conservative. They're all in the government.
Okay.
So they're like, women don't wear trousers. They're like proper people, well-spoken, everything. Well, my dad's family is a bit more, you know, they're relaxed or whatever. So my mum's family, they were handling everything for us, like our drivers and that. Me and my brother was doing maths. We were like, nah. We're not even going to be able to smoke in the car. We're not going to drink. We're not even going to listen to our music. So my brother's smart. He patterned his own driver in it. So I kept going in their car so I could like have a little fag, like on a zoo, listen to our own music. So he was like, D, 1 minute, put the music. I can hear like a live band. And I was like, nah, live band. Like it was just so overwhelming love for my dad. I'm talking about the funeral was like a 5-day process. Like we saw them dig, like, you know, when you have a funeral here, it's like, it's a public cemetery. It's all dug beforehand. You're not seeing like my dad's one. It's his boys digging it. Like it's all like sentimental. Like it's all. Do you know what I mean? Like we saw the process. Like it was just emotional. But he got a really, really good send off.
That's beautiful. Still.
For me, yeah, I'm honoured and I'm so happy that all his children and all his grandchildren were able to witness it.
That's all you can ask for, you know. That's the only thing.
And
you
I had
can
a sick
for.
dad.
Yeah,
till
exactly.
I was 32. Like that's even a lot. Some people don't get that.
The memories, are the ones that is the thing that matters the most at the end of it. Do you know what I mean? And I think if we take anything from that, is understanding that, you know, we're not here for a lot. Do you know what I tell people all the time, I say, because sometimes when we think about death, we think about it in a super upsetting way, And I actually believe, as difficult as it is, we shouldn't. I think that we should.
Do you think?
I feel that we should, like, really try to accept that this is just definitely going to happen. Obviously, it's difficult to deal with when someone's ill or when it's tragic or whatever it may be. But like, let's look at Jamal, for example, You see, when Jamal died, I was like... I still can't believe it. I was like... It was such a shock because I'd seen him not even that long ago. But then immediately I thought, like... That is a sick life to celebrate, you know? Like, look what he did.
No, what he did was...
Like, look what he did.
In that short time as
At
well.
what? 31?
That's what I said, in that short time.
That's like, when you look at that, his mum and his family, and even just us as a culture, can be so proud to have had someone that was so selfless. You get what I'm saying? And did that. And like, now, forever, he's cemented. You get what I'm saying? We'll always talk about him in some way, shape or form when we look at, you know, what's happening here and how we change things or whatever. And that is ultimately an amazing thing. When you
said selfless, that's Jamal.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Honestly, like, when he passed, I started going through, like, just because he's not someone that I talk to all the time.
No.
But I had to go through, like, any communication that I've had, and anything he ever sent me or said to me was just so uplifting, inspiring. He was always trying to bring me into stuff as well. Even when I was sick last year, he was trying to bring me into a few projects, but I was actually sick. Even when my dad passed, he tried to bring me into something. Right. And I just thought, you're just selfless. Like, you're always gassing me up, always reminding me self-belief. And it's like, bro, the impact he left on me was major.
Yeah, massive.
But it's true. If we start looking at it like that,
we're not even here for a long time.
No, we're not. I'm very shocked, boy.
Like, we look at it like this, yeah.
When I turned 33 the other day, I said, "Nah, mate, you're getting on."
Nah, but I hear it. I hear that. But you know what? Like, let's look at it like this, yeah. We can all agree that the world started before 0000. So like, we're 2022, yeah. So they're like, human existence going on for millions of years. But let's just say that it started at 0000. Let's just say that. Or just 0. Let's just say it started at 0, yeah? We are in 2022. There's a number called 100,000. There's a number called 500,000. There's a number called 1 million. We are in 2022. So we are only here for around 85-ish. It's not a long time.
It's not.
So do you know what? Let's vibes. Let's create memories. Let's just try to make the best out of the time that we can.
I'm not signing out. Like, I don't care.
Was that?
I'm not signing out.
But you know
when they're like, sign out at 30 or 40. I'm not signing out. I swear to God.
Yeah.
You're gonna catch me at BAFTA after playing my 50s or whatever. No, I'm just joking. But
just like enjoy it and create the moments
as long as I can. I'm going to live my life, travel, enjoy it as much as I can. Like, I'm not putting age to anything ever. No. And what I am learning is that when I do, even like now, when I've just said, when I turned 33, I was getting shook. It's bullshit, because at the end of the day, like, when I see I have older friends as well, and I'm actually looking forward to my 40s.
Yeah.
Because my friends who are in their 40s, life looks amazing. Like, when you're settled, your kids are grown, you just know no more hustling, no more trying to find yourself. Yeah. Everything is stable. Like, I'm looking forward to all of that.
Yeah, trust me. When you like, it's a shame when people are like in their 20s and they're feeling mad old. And I'm like, I get it. Sometimes some people's experiences can make them feel that way. They've lived a lot, and like, they've had maybe a lot of mad things happen to them, and they've gone through a lot of emotions early and stuff like that. But it's like, yo, you know what? One day you are really going to be old. You just embrace the fact that you've got all your faculties. My great grandmother just turned 104 years old, just the other day, right? And like, she's like a queen to us. The only thing is that for her now, she doesn't have her faculties the same way. So she doesn't have an understanding of like what's happening really. She can't do much for herself and whatever. And it's like, as amazing as it is from a selfish aspect to have her, like, it makes you realise if you don't have your faculties, you don't want to live that long.
But I was just about to say, not to be rude, but I don't want to live that long.
She doesn't. She didn't want to. I remember when she was 99 and she did have her faculty, well, she could speak in that. Yeah, I remember sitting by she was in a hospital. She had to go to hospital because she had an infection. So I went to the hospital. I'm sitting with her, and I'm saying to her, I said, "Oh, you're gonna be 100 soon," and she looked at me and she said to me, I don't know why the Lord kept me here so long.
Look, my dad had that type of sense of humour, you know.
He's like, I don't know why the Lord kept me here so long. When it was her 100th birthday, we was at her house, or like, we did the cake and whatever, and it was not her birthday.
She's not feeling it.
She was just not. She blew the thing. She blew the candle. She opened the letter from the Queen or whatever. Which is a meaty letter, to be honest with you. I'm going to be honest with you. You lot are going to do better than that.
You when you turn 100?
They give you a letter, yeah.
But how did it... Bro, that's nice.
Yeah, they said it. Yeah, but I hear it, but it's just a photo. It's like one of them... It's like a postcard thing that you can almost get in Oxford Street or Piccadilly Circus. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. It's just got like a picture of her, and then it's ain't got a handwriting or nothing like that. It's just typed out. They've just copied the thing. It's a meaty. But... To be fair, there's probably a lot more people turning 100 these days, and that's a long job, sitting every day
sending people.
So I understand it, but she opened that, whatnot. But now it's like, when she actually dies, it will be a celebration. Do you get what I'm 100%. Saying? Because she's lived a long life and a fruitful one as well, yeah. But also, it's like she she doesn't have her faculties. Like she's not. That's not a life that anyone really wants to live. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean the main point I'm making is that like we're not even here for a long time. We just got to create as much memories and do as much as we possibly can in the time that we've got, and then whatever's on the other side is on the other side. I genuinely believe as well that over a period of time, I don't know when this is, but when you die, whatever is in here is not in here anymore. Like they're just not even there. They're just not even there. So we're doing stuff, but they're not there though. They might be around here somewhere in the spirit or whatever it may be, but they're just not here. When have you gone through acceptance yet?
What accepting?
Like acceptance of what's happened. Have you gone through that yet?
I don't know, man. I only went to my dad's house for the first time. I didn't even go in.
How did that feel?
Through the letterbox.
Huh?
I looked through the letterbox.
Did you? Yeah.
And only because I know they've cleared everything out.
Right. So
now
acceptance isn't there yet.
I'm trying to make my brother move there. I don't want to move there.
Right. Yeah. Acceptance isn't there. It takes time. Like ultimately, what is it? It wasn't that long ago. I'm going through a year now. So Peter died like a year last week. Yeah. And what happened with him was, there's a whole episode on it. You lot can go and watch it. But like, he got, I was away. I was in Germany. And then I got a phone call saying that he was like slurring his words and that. Yeah. My mum thought he was having a stroke.
How old is he?
I think he was like 61.
He's young.
Yeah. 61, 62-ish, yeah. But like, yeah, he was slurring his words. They thought he was having this, what do you call it? A stroke. Turns out he wasn't having a stroke. He had tumor on the brain. So anyway, they were good. They needed to operate on it or whatnot. And then, and just to give some context, yeah. So like, he's been in my life since I was like 8 or some shit like that.
I actually watched that episode.
Yeah. And like, he's got a good relationship with my dad.
That's why I was even saying like my partner
Yeah.
And my son, like my partner really loves my son and loves
right.
And it made me hopeful to one day like
I think we spoke about that.
Yeah, I want my son to like obviously has two, like his own dad or whatever, but still love the man that loves his mum, because you said you watched him love your mum.
Oh, to bits.
And that line resonated
to
with me.
bits.
That's beautiful, yeah.
To bits. But what we went through, yeah, you see, like, I think when Peter actually died, like, I think I really started to deep, like, how much of a madness what we was actually really going through at the time. Because he lost his speech and that through the operation, so he wasn't able to communicate words and these type of things. But then lockdown happened, but he still had his faculties on that. But then over a period of time, one thing after another just kept happening and that. And then like it got to a stage where he wasn't really able to do anything for himself, and we was having to do a lot for him. We had carers coming in, like in the house and stuff like that, and we always kept him at home. But yeah, man, it was nuts, man. Like it was nuts. Like, and even like going through that and then leaving the house and filming. Like I'm leaving, I'm in extreme reality to come and do this. Do you get what I'm saying? And I'm forgetting about it. I'm compartmentalizing. I'm just doing my thing. And then as soon as I'm done, I've like gone back into the house and like, this is my reality. You get what I'm saying? I'm waking up at 2-3 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, however, like bare times to like check up on him to make sure he's okay and whatnot. But you know, like I talked about this on the episode as well. Yeah. But as time has gone on, I feel like it's even more special now as time's gone on, yeah, when I reflect on it. He died in my arms, you know, like literally in my arms. This could have happened at any point. Like, wow. It was, when I tell you, Denise, yeah, it was proper sad. It was proper sad, but it was easily one of the most special things that I've ever experienced. Because imagine like, he's been there all that time from when I was a youth, man. and always been there for me.
Yeah.
Then obviously this happened, so I was there for him.
Yeah,
Do you get what I'm saying? Every day, like enough times I'm sitting there,
and it was natural. Yeah, like
you know, he'd be sitting in it. We like got this recliner chair or whatever. It wasn't like there was a point where he just wasn't really able to say nothing or whatever. I'm just sitting there just reading or might be on the internet or whatever, and you know what I mean. I had like sometimes I'd have it. I started having granola and coconut yogurt, yeah. But sometimes I'd mix the coconut yogurt with vanilla yogurt, yeah. And then I'd just give him a spoonful of it, and the look on his face, like he's looking at me like as if to say, "What? This thing is mad." Because every morning he's kind of having the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
He's having the prunes, he's having this, that, and the other. So when I lick him with the vanilla yogurt with the granola with the young raisins in it. Like he'd literally look at me as if to say, "Yo, this thing is mad."
I love that.
But so going through all of that, and then you know getting to the point where we noticed that he couldn't even really see. Like we knew he was as close to it. When my mom's come home, yeah, she's like, "Rah, something's happening." So I'm looking, and I'm like, his eyes are open, and he's like breathing heavily, but not in distress though. He's breathing. It was just unusual because he had his eyes closed for a couple of days, pretty much, yeah. So we're thinking, like he might be going. So I'm like, I've wrapped my arms around him, and I'm like, so his head's here. He's looking up that way, and I'm just like talking in his ear, and I'm holding him. And I'm just saying to him, you know what? Like you smashed it. Like he was sick, whatever. Just talking to him, and then this breathing just stopped.
Oh.
Like, and
what do you mean? Like
it just stopped. Like literally after about under a minute of us talking to him, it literally just stopped. My mum just broke down.
You and your mum were together. Thank God you were.
It was just us three. You get what I'm saying? It was just us
beautiful.
Three. What I think the most difficult thing for me going forward was that I had to suppress a lot of my emotions because my mum that's her ride or die. Do you know what I mean? She was going for a complete madness. As I said, the guilt was battering her. Like she was going through so much, and so for me, I suppressed a lot of what I was going through to support my mum, and you know, over a period of time, that started to just come out here and there, in these emotions, and I needed to have them moments. You get what I'm saying? But now a year's gone, and I woke up that day when it all happened, and I remember just thinking to myself, shit, man, a whole year ago, shit was so different. It was so different. And I'm looking at the time, because I remember the exact time that it all happened, and that it's all shit that was going through my head. So I gone to the cemetery, and I'm just just talking. And even though, see, for me, again, I don't believe that he's there. So I'm going to the cemetery because I know they call it the place of rest or whatever. Yeah. But I just feel like if there's somewhere out here, but I'm just here because this is the place where the resting ground. Do you get what I'm saying? But I'm just having a little one reasoning and then just talking, and then I just went out and just done a few things that I know that he would have done. But time is now they say time is a healer. It just takes time, but it takes different time for different people. You know what I mean? You know, my mum is still very much.
Yeah, that one she's probably not going to, because even before my dad died, probably 2 years ago, I think my mum was crying for her mum.
Right.
And I thought, your mum died in 96.
Right, see it there.
How can you still be because I hadn't lost a parent at that time. So I was thinking, is this an excuse, or are you just saying that? But some people, they say time, obviously, you just learn to manage it. You learn to live with it. You learn to cope. You learn to just, you know what I mean, cope with the fact that your parents gone or whatever. But then there's some people that just say it still hurts the same.
Same, yeah.
30 years later,
yeah.
40 years later. And people always think it's when you lose your mum, you're going to be your world's ended. But for someone like me, I'm a girl dad, innit? My dad was my mum and my dad.
Yeah.
For example, my brother now, who's the only boy, my mum's his person. If something happened to mum, God forbid, but him and my boys and their mums, innit?
Yeah,
it just goes hand in hand. But for me, it's I've lost my person. And I don't think I'm ever going to get over it. I think I have to just learn. Because even when I look at my pictures now, or even when I don't even like doing like front selfies and front camera, I feel like I can see the pain in my eyes all the time. Like all the time. Like there's just, it doesn't go. I even tried to buy new eye drops the other day and I was like, what the fuck, what's wrong with my eyes? Like I just see it, I can feel it, like it's just there, like. And that's why, like, I've taken time with everything. Like, I am going to get back to pods and all of that, but I wanted to be in quite a solid place before I get back.
Did you have counselling? Did you counsel or anything?
Yeah, I just stopped. I'm going back in now. Like, I've started, like, talking to my old podcast with the girls to do the Pretty Privilege. I'm in talks with, like, my team for my Rare Talks one to get back. Because, obviously, I had my guest for that lined up from last year and I just vanished on everyone. So I am going to get back, but I wanted to feel a bit solid, and I am starting to feel a bit more solid each day. Like, but I didn't want to rush back into anything. You can't like, because you can't avoid it, you know. I'm still not even eating.
Is it?
I don't eat for days. Yeah. Like, I'm pissed. Do you know how much banging food was flying around that party yesterday?
I hate that stuff.
Brother, canopies with like lobster.
Is it? Yeah.
Prawns, like all my favourite food. I had no appetite at all. Like I could not eat. I don't even know how my body even survives or runs sometimes. Because it's like, but
the shock of such a sudden thing, though. I mean, because then you go through. One thing that we didn't go through as much was denial, because there was such a long process in like what was happening, and the inevitable was gonna happen in it. But when something's so sudden, like the denial stage must be extreme, right?
It's a lot.
You wake up every day thinking, wait,
no way. Yeah, that was me for like the first, until I think we went to Uganda. Even when we went to Uganda, I was like, no way, we're really burying Dad. Like, and I didn't cry a lot, you know. I don't cry, like, I cry in my own time. Like, I could be in the car and just start screaming. I have to park up because I don't want to fucking write off. Do you know what I mean? My mom always tells me, if you get emotional when you're driving, just park. It's not good to like cry while you're driving and all that. So I always park up, but I cry at moments where you wouldn't think I cried. Like when I was burying my dad, my mum was like, on the morning, this is gonna be the hardest thing. Like burying is like the time where all your emotions gonna come. I was calm. I was fine. When I was leaving Uganda now, I bowed on the plane. Right. I felt like, bro, I'm leaving you.
My dad, yeah.
But then when I got to London, I felt like he was here.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like it's a weird one. It's a weird one. So I feel like what I'm trying to do now is just learn to accept it and live with the fact I've never seen him again, but he's here. Like in terms of he's here in spirit.
Yeah. Well, how do you manage your emotions though? Do you let them see, like when you feel things, do you allow yourself to feel it or do you suppress them?
Some days I allow myself, some days I suppress it. I feel like I need to go back to therapy. I've had therapy before. And sometimes I think I can outsmart everyone and be my own therapist, but nah, this one is deeper. Yeah. Like I need professional, like just to talk, because sometimes I don't talk to people because I feel like you're burdening them with this. Yeah. Or come on, D man, like he died 3 months ago, or I've lost my dad too, because some people have lost their dad too. So I don't want to revisit emotions for them or just bring it up like to say my dad's more than yours or my pain's more than yours. So I don't talk to a lot of people about it. Days that I want to talk to my siblings, sometimes they're on a positive day. They're not even trying to hear this. So I don't want to bring them back down.
Right.
So my mum, same thing. I don't want to bring her down. So you find yourself talking to strangers, Uberman.
Yeah.
The other day I met a girl who lost her dad recently and she was in a positive place. So me and her were just talking for time. Right. For time, literally like best friends all Insta, still talking now. Yeah, and I just met at an International Women's Day dinner. But it's like, I'm like that. I'm very conscious, so I wouldn't want to put that on people all the time. So I found myself not really talking about it. But I started like a little diary journal thing. Right. That I just write, because I like actually writing. So some days I'll just...
You just let the thoughts go a little bit.
Blaze a zoo and just write a book way. Yeah. I'll just write everything I feel, whatever. But I feel like that probably does help.
Massively.
Yeah.
Because you're letting go of something, even if it's still... Even if you're still going through extreme pain, you're still able to like, you know what I mean, let go of something, you know what I mean, like by writing stuff down, because you've got things in your brain, you just want it out, you just want something out. You need an outlet. Everyone needs an outlet, you know what I mean? If you don't have, and that's why like you know, community is always good in some way, shape or form, because, you know, like we can't do everything by ourselves.
No.
And the times that you do, when you find like you're, you know, suppressing it, then it just comes out in mad other ways. Do you know what I mean? Like I started to, so in the process of me suppressing mine, I put a block on people. That was one thing I did. And also I could feel my delicacy. I could feel like at any moment I could just switch. You know what? I could just feel it.
Yeah, I'm
or there's certain moments where I just knew like one thing is going to make me just cry right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I'm hella suppressing this thing. But once I let it go, whichever way it is, yeah, whether I've like cried or whether I've like, you know, watched something or just spoke to someone or whatnot, I've always felt at least a little bit better in that moment, just a little bit. Yeah. Because I'm not coming to you for you to give me an answer. I don't even need an answer. Yeah. I just need to just talk. You know what I mean? And that's why my brethren in particular smashed it in that sense, because every time I felt like I needed to talk, they just sat and just listened every time. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like there was never, I think they understood the assignment. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't a thing of, you know what, you need to... No, and it is an
assignment, bro.
Yeah, definitely.
And until it's happened to me, I will be able to understand the assignment. I was someone that didn't understand it before. And that's because I hadn't ever dealt with it. So I didn't know how. So when I'm telling you, I've got friends or cousins who have lost their dad, and I didn't know what they went through in terms of, because I didn't know how to be around them. I didn't know, I'm not someone that knows how to deal with death, innit? So I didn't know if they wanted me to come to their house every day to talk to them, or if they want me to call them every day, or if they want me to just leave them alone. I don't know what to do. Do you know what I mean? I didn't know what to do, sorry. But now that it happened to me, I appreciated little things that people were doing for me. So I will know how to be for people moving forward. But death is something that's so like, for me, it's like, I've lost 2 cousins when I was young. Taz, he died on a motorbike when I was 21. And Darks, he died in his sleep on the day of Taz's funeral. Imagine we're all first cousins.
Are you serious?
Yes. They're from South. Taz is from Peckham, and Darts was originally from Waterloo, Brixton. He died in his... So, I wasn't...
On the day?
On the day. So I've rang. I wasn't around at that time. I've rang to find out how my cousin's funeral went. And this is like my proper cousin that I grew up with, yeah? And Dev's like, oh, D, Darks died as well though, on the night. So George's funeral was happening. My cousin Darks was already in a wheelchair. He got shot in the neck years ago, back in the day. So he was like in a wheelchair. So when they're at the, you know when you're celebrating the after bit?
Yeah.
So everyone's like at this after bit, drinking, vibes in. And he was just not in a good mood. He was just like, someone take me home. Like, I can't be around this. Like, he was just hurting too much, his cousin. And he has carers that live there around the clock or whatever. When everyone else has come back from that party thing around 5 a.m, he just wasn't breathing.
It's mad how life works.
On the night of his cousin's thing. So those are the 2 people that I lost very young, but I wasn't around. So I never dealt with the death like that. So now my dad died, it's like, okay. And then in our culture, we get buried. Like when my dad got buried, Darks is there. My 2 cousins that I never got to see them, their funerals, they're buried where my dad's buried. Like we all get buried as a family in our culture. So like even me, if I don't get married, I'm gonna get buried next to my dad.
Right.
But if I get married, I get buried wherever my husband wants to. Okay. That's how our culture is. So like outside my nan's bit, I've got a few cousins there. My dad, like, it's just, there's about 10 graves there at the moment. Not 10, about 8.
Oh, it's nuts, man. It is, how life works is nuts. I mean, we will never, that is the one thing that we will never ever be able to understand. We will never be able to understand we will never be able to understand it. But the one thing that we do know is that it is going to happen, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? And I think, do you know what I think? The more that we talk about it, the less scared that we will be about it. But the more that we don't talk about it, the more of a taboo it is, and we're shook. But there's certain cultures, I think, yeah. I don't know which cultures it is. I need to do certain research on this. But I feel that there are certain cultures in the world that like look at death more as a celebration, and they maybe in some way.
Did though, no?
Latin America.
I went to a funeral recently, and the man, it was like an English man. He was like, "That's why I love a Ugandan funeral, because you don't really celebrate after." I think he said Caribbeans and Ugandans.
Yeah, we do celebrate. We do. Yeah,
like have a little party. And
I'm not gonna lie though, a Caribbean loves to climb in the coffin, boy. I'll tell you that. Yo, when you got an open coffin.
What do you mean climb in?
So like, if you go to a Jamaican funeral, yeah, right, and they have the casket open and that, someone is in there, hysterics, like, trying to climb in the joint. Like, these things happen. I've seen it happen a couple of times. Look, I got a mad sense of humor, so I can, after the fact, I can laugh at these things. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, climbing in is techie. Because, I mean, imagine now the thing drops on the floor, the body falls. Like, it's just...
I start thinking about all of that.
Yeah. From when you start cock up the leg and put the leg in the thing to then put the body weight on, we ain't worked out how this is stabilized and how... See, like, these little things on the chair? Like, that's a little piece of wood. You put too much body weight on that, and you know sometimes you got the auntie that's a bit... You get what I'm saying? A little bit weighty, trying to climb in the thing. Yeah, but after that, there is a celebration because more time there's rhythms and whatnot, and there's a little vibe and stuff. But I still think that I still feel like as a community and as people, we don't really... We only talk about it when it happens. When it happens, we'll usually say, you know what? This is what I'm going to do now. And this is like, it's just crazy. It's like a realization, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I think the more that we talk about it, of course, we will still be shocked when certain things happen. And of course, we're still going to be sad when someone is like super close to you, that part, like you can't control your emotions. You can't. How you feel is how you feel.
It's true.
But I do think that like it becomes a little bit more easier to accept. Do you know what I mean? It's unfortunate that this happened, but you know what? This was going to happen, and I'll see you on the other side if there is another side, or whatever it is that you believe. You know what I mean?
Literally. That's just how I feel. And I just feel like because life is like that, sometimes you have people that like are holding grudges for like the dumbest things with their parents or with their family, and then they lose the person, then you wasn't able to speak. So sometimes like just some things are just not worth it. Just squash dumb shit. Like, that's what all my friends who have like daddy issues, all I was saying to them is allow that.
Yeah.
Forgive your dad, spend time with your dad, just try and make things work. Just be there, because when they're gone, you're really gonna not care about them little things, you know. Oh, my dad didn't buy my first whip. Listen.
Yeah, I'm
like, because I used to have them little, you know, you pass your test and then your dad can't even buy your whip. Like, you're just angry, innit? So like, them little things, you need to like let go of that and just focus on the fundamental things like love. Like for me, the love our dad instilled in us is priceless.
Right.
It is priceless. For us to even, and because our dad like weren't like no rich man or none of that, like when my dad passed, I remember thinking, okay, well, I'm not thinking about what he could have left me, because I wasn't even thinking he left us. That's even rude for me to think like that, but I wasn't focusing on that. I was just thinking, this man loved us, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Later, only for us to find out that he actually did leave us some shit. Like,
yeah.
But do you know what I'm trying to say? But we was even shocked. We was grateful, but the main message and that my dad left us was love.
Right.
He loved us unconditionally. Like, I can't even express it. Like, he loved us so much that that's all we wasn't born. We was rich in love. We wasn't rich in money. We didn't even know we was poor growing up when we was young. Cause our dad just loved us. He used to take us to feed the ducks, and he was very hands on, like hugging, kissing, dressing us, like doing my hair. Like, he wasn't like a dad that just gave my mum money to. He was a hands on dad. So I have that experience. So for me, I'm honoured that I had that type of dad. Like,
you see, when you feel cold about it, yeah, those are the things that keep you warm, you know.
What do you know how? Like, even my confidence. I've spoken about it before. Like, my confidence is all from my dad. I went I'm from Canning Town, innit? Predominantly white area. And I'm dark skinned. Do you know how popular, do you know how peng I felt from primary? Do boys like, I wasn't like the girl that wasn't put on the peng list. I was always on the, you know, when boys in school, like ranking girls, I was always up there, top 3.
Strong.
The confidence like my dad put in me, like unmatched. I've never felt less than anybody. Like, I always feel like I'm one of the pengest people in the room. I don't care, but I get that from my dad. Because I could walk in now to my dad's house in a trackie, hair not even saying nothing. Right. He would be like, my beautiful he would gas me up.
Yeah.
What? You can't tell me nothing.
Right.
I don't need no one to call me. My dad used to make me feel like nobody can chat to me.
Yeah.
Like, and I get all my features from him. My dimples, my high cheekbones. I'm thinking.
Listen, let me tell you something. Yeah. You can never underestimate the power of the words from a parent. You know.
What?
You know what's up? On Snap. Yeah. I never use Snap, by the way. I only use Snap for two things to go on, like. There's one person I follow. I'm always curious to see what they're up to.
You know the man them love Snap for one reason.
No. But just to see what, like, there's just a couple of people that are just entertaining here. But one person in particular, DJ Khaled. Sometimes I just go there and I think, I wonder what his youths are up to. That's just a thought that comes in my head. Yeah.
You're gonna make me check him for that.
So anyway, sometimes I go on there now, yeah, and I go and look at Khaled because he's still snapping, yeah. And there's one thing that he does that I think is so sick, yeah. And I can see that even though his youth is growing up in a level of privilege, yeah. No, not a level of privilege, yeah. The confidence that his dad is installing in him, this youth, is amazing. Because what Khaled does is, yeah, like, he'll run up to the youth and he'll go on the trainer and he'll say, son, what trainers are these? And then, like, his son will say, oh, they're the Jordan 4s. Then Khaled will say, wow.
I love the gas.
And then the kid's like, he's walking off into school and he's like, I love you, son. And the kid walks in and he does it all the time. Like, he'll run over to the youth like, yo, like what are you wearing? And he'll be like, I got the Jordans on. And he'll be like, wow.
I love the gas.
And then you'll see this youth just walk off into school and he'll be like, I love you, son, whatever.
Important.
But that there, it's funny. But see, for the youth, he doesn't even realize when he gets older, he's going to understand, yo, my dad felt like the energy levels that my dad gave to me in my life now. I feel like I could go and take on the world now.
No, it is important. Like, I get all my confidence, all my gas, all my backbone, everything from my dad. Everything is from him. Like, my mum is very submissive. She's like a very... Yeah. Them type of... But my dad is like a confident go-getter. Like, if I can't do it, I'm going to try. If I can't, I'm going to learn. I'm going to... You just... No is just... You don't use the word no. You just try. Like, he's always like... And I'm like that.
Right.
Problem solving. Like, I think... Like, I'm quick on my feet. My dad's like that. Like, always thinking, like... And... I just feel like it's so important to gas your kids. I swear to God, if you're not gassing your kids at home, your kid's gonna be allowed to look to get gassed somewhere else.
Yeah, trust me.
So you need to gas your kids, especially fathers. If you have daughters, you need to be the first person to make your daughter know she's beautiful. She can't be waiting for someone else to tell her that. It needs to be coming from your dad. And I swear to God, and you won't really find it. You won't go looking for it like that per se outside. Like, I don't really cat like that. Well, I don't know now moving forward how I'm going to be, but knowing I have it, like, trust me, money, everything, even like relationships, when you try, I'll be like, no, I'm bringing my dad, because my dad I'll pass the phone. He'll be like, why is Denise upset? Come to my house, he's got a little accent, but he will get on to you. Like, and even when I broke up with my baby father, my dad loved my baby father. Like, he really wanted us to work out, and when we didn't, my dad hated him so much, I don't think he could put it into words. He actually just done that. Like, I want to kill you. He actually done that to him.
Did he? Yeah.
Like, I think he wanted to tell him, if I could, I would kill you right now for hurting my daughter. Like, that's how much my dad loves me. Like, you break my heart, he wants to kill you too. Like, you better stay with my daughter, make her happy, type of thing. Like, but it's cool. Like, I can just live with the memories in my head.
Of course. How do you feel now? Like, how do you feel now?
I just feel like I just want to take each day at a time. I am. I don't know. I still feel numb in terms of like emotions. I still feel quite numb, but I'm excited. I got blessings. Like, I got a lot of things to look forward to. Like I've been getting opportunities left, right, and centre. That's why I feel like I have got an angel, different angel. Everything I missed out on last year, films I was getting asked to be in without auditions and I couldn't go, or had to go Uganda to bury my dad. I'm getting bigger opportunities now. I'm getting bigger people who want to help me with Rare Talks, with my talk show. I'm getting, even just bumping into you when I came out Soho that time and saying, come on. Like, it's all just falling back into place anyway. So I'm hopeful and I'm positive. I'm looking forward to all of that. But obviously, I'm just trying to figure out this. All right, park off, Dad. Do
you know what it is? Yeah, it's learning a different side of yourself. You know, like, you go through something so life-changing, yeah? And you go through a bunch of different emotions that you may not have even... One, you might not have experienced before. Or if you've experienced it before, you're experiencing it, like, in more of an extreme way. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like now, like, understanding who you are without this person. Like, and it's like a new chapter in a book, innit? And it's a difficult one because it's hard to navigate. To be successful in it in some way, you have to just fail a bunch of times, or you just got to go through some shit emotions. Do you get what I'm saying? But I think once you go through them, each period of time, you become stronger and stronger and stronger. With that being said, obviously, it may never fully take away that pain that you initially felt when this happened, because ultimately that's someone that is so close to you, and that is a part of you, and you're a part of them. Yeah. So it's never going to be the same. It's never going to be the same. But there's a new chapter now, and it's almost just about working out how you fit in that and where you go forward with that. And also take into consideration two things. One, you're so lucky that all that love that he gave you, yeah? You know, like, as I said to you before, when you're feeling cold and like you're feeling proper shit, yeah? That the thought of the love that he gave you is something that can keep you warm fully. What? That's one thing. And the other thing is that, you know what? Sometimes it's taking a step back and saying, what would he want from me right now? Do you get what I'm saying? I'm feeling what I'm feeling, but what would he want from me right now? He would want me to, you know what? Say, all right, cool. Now I need to focus on this now. I've got to get some work done. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. That's why keep me in your heart, but let's go and get it now. Let's go and get it. You get me?
No, that's how I feel. Like, I want to double just everything I'm doing. I'm just doing it 110% with full love and just work harder. But I want to, like, even him, he wouldn't want me at home depressed. No. Doing what I do, just sitting there on Netflix, bunning the suit or whatever. He would want me active, travelling, working, happy, spending more time with the rest of my family. Like, I know what he'd want me to do, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. Do you know what I mean? Even down to, like, his businesses in Uganda. I'm not even going to neglect them. Right. He left quite a few shops and all that. I'm going to go, like, pattern them. I'm going to, like, proper, like, I'm not going to, like, flop his stuff. I'm gonna make him proud. Like, and I know how much he loves Uganda, so I'm gonna. That's why, like, even like with Daniel, I'm doing stuff with all the other Ugandans anyway. Yeah. But I'm doing it more as well, like with my dad at the back of my mind. Right. Yeah. Yeah, man. It's tough, innit? It's tough. I even said it because my mum's name's Kay. Yeah. Right. I said, God forbid, if I have a daughter, her name's Peter K, but I know Jamaican Caribbeans have that name. Yeah. I said, I'm forcing my dad's name into my next child. I feel sorry for them. Peter K is your name, baby. Like, you got to run with that. Yeah, I hear that still. But yeah, like, feel the emotions, innit? Yeah. Because they're valid and they're real. But, you know, it's this next chapter now, innit? Like, and it's flipping... It's a weird one to maneuver in. It's a weird one. But I'm even dreading the year anniversary. When you started talking about it, I thought that's just because my birthday, the reason why I had no birthday this year is because, like, my dad's part of my birthday. Right. Like, I look forward to his card with his little money in there, him calling me. Like, even like last year, he found out I liked a particular wine. Yeah. And he bought me 4 bottles of that wine and then 4 bottles of his choice. Right. So I battered the 4 bottles that I drank. Yeah. But it's so mad that the 4 bottles that I didn't drink were at one of my boyfriend's flats that I haven't been to for like months, yeah? So now my dad passed and my boyfriend's cousin lives in that flat, innit? Right. Yo, the way I was ringing this boy, like, yo, FaceTime me, I need to see them wines. Yeah, yeah. If your things have drank this wine, somebody's going to die tonight. I was literally on edge. The wines were there with a bit of dust. So my sister was like, how do you know you didn't go and buy any... Like, because they had dust on them. They had dust. I said, no, I remember one was Merlot, like... What I put them in my house now. I just look at them like. See, that's the next thing. It's like, yo, you know what? On them landmarks, yeah. Try to do things that he would have done, or certain things that will have you connected to him. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? When it was my birthday, yeah,
like Peter died this time last year. My birthday's in July. I said, you know what? I'm gonna do a couple of things that he like used to like to do. Yeah. One was actually he used to get manicures and pedicures. I used to laugh at him for that. I used to be like, what? Like, why are you
self-care? I love that.
Yeah, like, what are you talking about? Peter's getting manicures and that. I used to find that was mad. But his nails was always neat and that. So what I did was I went to the same place that he went to go and do that. And I showed them and they recognized. They were sad to hear that what had happened, whatnot. But I was like, you know what, man? Get my young nails done and that. I did that. Went to a massage place that he'd gone to before. You might even carry that on moving forward now. You might of course.
Part of your life.
Of course. And then went to like one place that he used to go to for drinks with his. And one of the sickest things I did. I didn't even talk about this actually. I got a message from Peter's workmate. Yeah, his name's called Joe. Yeah. And he was always checking up to see like how Peter was. Yeah. He was messaging me on Instagram. And then like when Peter had died, he'd come back to me and he said to me, oh, like me and the workmates, we've like put some money together. You give it to your mum, you can help use it towards a funeral or whatever, which was proper like a nice gesture, innit? Yeah.
Nice, yeah.
Then he's like, he's messaged me and said to me, this was like closer, almost towards the summer. And he was like, we're going around to all of the pubs that we used to go to with him. Like, loads of us are all meeting up or whatever. He was an electrician. So he was like, if you want, come. So I was like, yeah, do you know what? I'm going to do that. So when I went to link them, there was like 15, 20 of them. Yeah. I linked them at one pub by Waterloo. And then what we did was we just like had a couple of drinks and that. Then we moved to the next place and the next place and the next place. And you know what? I can't even lie. I almost got smashed to pieces. And it made me think to myself, fucking hell, boy. I can see how Peter used to come home, mash up sometimes, fall asleep on the train and that. These man can drink, you know. What? So, obviously we did that. But what was sick about that too was that like I got to hear these different stories from them too. Because they knew him differently. Do you know what I mean? But they all told me like the same story but different versions of the story and that, and it was sick. Like I just loved that. Like I loved that, and that was a proper good day out. So it was like that kind of had made me closer to him. Do you know what I mean? By even just going and just doing that.
But I'm still in contact with like one of my dad's best friends. But he calls me or texted me like twice a week.
All right.
Yeah, and I even said to my brother like, we should keep him close to us because when you're with him or around him, you feel like
you feel it.
Yeah, it's just nice because that was my dad. Yeah. You can just catch vibes, but I get that because even before we left Uganda, we went out with all my dad's friends. One's from here because even all his friends from here flew out to bury him as well, you know, and his friends from there, they all took us out like with my mum, my brother and sister. And it was just nice to be around them and just see like hear their type of banter and all that. And I was just like, I can see why my dad. Like, why you're his friends or whatever. Like, you can just see, yeah. But I'm defo going to be holding on to anyone that's, like, important to my dad. I'm holding on to them, too.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, 100%.
But listen, love, guidance, and light to you. You know
I appreciate it. Thank you. It's been nice. Like, it's been emotional up and down. But it's even just been nice to hear your side.
Yeah, man.
And what you guys went through.
And still going through.
Yeah, because even like your mum, don't you feel like you still now have to double protect her?
Yeah, of course. Like, I spoke to her today. And she just wasn't in them.
After I'm going to get her, I'm bringing her to my house.
Oh, okay.
To stay, because she only came up from Uganda yesterday.
Right.
The way she called me this morning, lonely, I could just hear it. Like,
in the voice.
You're in that house on your own. I can just hear, like, you're just thinking about my dad. You're just thinking about, and she even said, I had a dream about daddy. He was at my door and all. She was telling me about. She said she even went to the door to see if he was there. I thought, mate, I'm coming to get you today. You're coming to save me.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's a lot for her, though. Imagine your life partner.
Yeah. They came to this country together.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Like, that's a deep one in itself, you know?
And my dad
they left their community
wedding,
to come here to build something and whatever. Like,
my dad worked 2 jobs. He gave my mum her dream wedding. All night, seen no one get married like my mum. Mum had a horse and carriage. She had like 26 bridesmaids, 26 boys.
Serious?
They had like he worked so hard, saved up for like years to give her dream wedding. So can you imagine, like...
Yeah, that's tough. It's tough. It takes time. Like it takes a long time sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
because it's the deepest element of life. It's more deep than giving birth. I think.
Big man thing.
Like giving birth is deep because that's a whole life. But see, when it goes,
it's deep.
There's so many questions. Do you get me? Like there's so many questions.
And sometimes
like
when
what is it?
Die, someone else could die because that person died.
Like,
I feel
they
like
call
now,
it dying
nan,
of a heartbreak.
My nan, I'm so scared for my nan.
Yeah.
Because my dad's her favourite child.
Right.
Like she was out loudly saying at the burial in our language, God, why did you take Peter? Should have took all the rest of them, not Peter. No, she kept saying it as well. Like, you know, like when we're clocking, what she's saying, we're looking at each other like, and the other kids like, my mum could never.
Why didn't he take him?
She was like, just take all of them, not Peter. She said it bare times as well. I was thinking, oops.
Yeah.
She loved my dad. She loved my dad so much that I hear her. She even said she'd never come back to London again. She only used to come for Peter. Man. And you could just see it in her, like, and I just pray she can get through it. But like that's how like even my mum.
Do you know what's deep with our Peter was that like imagine I used to take Peter used to go and see his mum every Monday, yeah. Obviously he was going through what he was going through, lockdown had happened and whatnot. And when we was able to go outside, I used to drive him to his mum's, yeah. Take him there, whatnot, and I'd just sit in the garden or some shit, or like I'll just go for a drive or whatever. And his mum used to always have this favourite thing that used to say to her. Used to say to her, because I call her Granny, yeah. So I used to say to her, "You're right, Granny." She used to always say to me, "I'm down, but I'm not out." That was all. Anytime that was her favourite thing to say. How are you doing? Is everything all right? She'd be like, "I'm down, but I'm not out." And like, they were very, very close, yeah. And then, in the beginning of the year, last year, we just got a phone call saying that she like had to go hospital or something. Something was happening or whatever. And then they sent her home. Something still wasn't right. She went back to the hospital and then she died. Like when we got a phone call saying, look, like the brothers and sisters and family, like immediate family need to come there now. But Peter actually didn't have the faculty. Like he didn't really have an understanding of what was going on. Yeah, he was at that point, he was like, you know, yeah, he was just in a different place, yeah. And it was so mad because like his mum actually was okay. Like she was fine. It was so mad to go through that of her passing like that. So it's almost like suddenly, but in some weird way, you know what, like it worked out because she would never have wanted to experience that before. Yeah. Do you get what I'm saying?
Because you're not meant to bury your children.
So she'd passed, and then what we tried to explain to him, like his mum had passed, yeah, but he wasn't really getting it. And then the next day, he started crying. Like he just literally just started crying. Then he was like basically saying, like, where's his mum or whatever. So then we realized, oh, maybe he is understanding like what's happening or whatnot. But and then 2 months later, then Peter died. Like, but life is nuts, man. But you know, like there's so much questions in it. Like there's so much questions. Like what happens?
I know.
You know, like religion plays a big part in what people believe is the next thing, and I think that it kind of gives people hope, and that's why I've got bare questions. Like I got so many. I question God all of the time.
I reckon I'll lose my mind. So I stay away from that. You know, like
I question God to bits.
They always say if you over question it, you will just keep questioning absolutely everything.
Yeah, but I question.
There's like a why to like why, but why, yeah. And you're just gonna be there all day. So I'm one of them people.
I don't question God in a negative way though, because sometimes like, I question God as if God actually exists. Like I question God like he's my brethren.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I'm like, yo, so why?
I know, like why me?
What's going on? Like what's happening? Yeah, and then sometimes like when certain things that happen that are really good,
thank you.
I say, you know what? If that's you,
got me.
Thank you. Bust me still. Yeah. And then sometimes when certain things that are bad happening or whatever, sometimes I do say, yo, I don't know if you're gonna be here, but back man if you can. You get what I'm saying? And then I always have this thing where I tell people that like, if we die and we go to the gates that people say and the judgment and all of that type of stuff, yeah, I always say that like, cool, boom, like when it's time now, I'm going to go there, I'm going to go to the gates and that, God's going to be standing there and saying to me, "Yeah, okay, boom, we're gonna go through the spreadsheet.
What you've been doing?
Yeah, we're gonna go through the spreadsheet now and go through what was what, where you could have done a bit better. You understand what I'm saying? So we'll do that now. Yeah, I'm comfortable in the sins that I made some sins. You get what I'm saying? But I'm comfortable that I'm gonna bust through. Yeah. However, though, you see, after God says to me, "Yeah, all right, cool, boom, this is the grade. You can go and do your thing or whatnot." I am going to say to God, hold on, wait. Before I go in, though, I've got a couple of questions for you still. Because
in 1996,
certain things, there was... Right, like, why was it that? And how comes it was? And why was this?
Yeah, like, why did you put me through that?
Or not even me. Like, how comes you allowed... Like, what was it? And then, so once we've done that, because all I need to hear is, this is why this happened. Yeah, and then I'll be like, okay, boom, I understand it. I'll bust through. However, though, if I hear something that I'm not loving, I don't know if I'm going in.
Big man thing.
I don't know, because what? What you telling me what? That you ain't... If I say, yo, God, so boom, what happened and that? Like, why is it that? And he says something like, just cool, man. Like, you're in it. You're all right. Don't chat to me like that. You know what? I'm standing outside.
Man, I'm standing outside. To God, don't chat to me like that.
I won't go hell, but I'll just stand by and I'll just watch everyone else go past and be like, yeah, boom. Yeah, I'm not really going in because I think like he's moving a bit.
Yeah, he's moving a bit shaky.
Yeah. Now, understand this. Some people think that that's a mad thing for me to say about God. However, I feel God understands my personality and sense of humor. So God will know if God's heart's clean, he'll laugh at that. Do you understand what I'm saying? God will say, you know what, I hear you still. Cool, and I understand where man's coming from. And then boom. Do you get what I'm saying? No. Reason, I go through, see my grand, see Peter, see whoever else is there at the time, and we just catch a vibes.
I really want to know what's happening, man.
Yeah, like what happens next?